Hello and happy Friday, everybody. Uh, Maybe we'll wait a minute and see if anybody shows up. Today, I want to talk about Magic Kingdom restaurants. Uh, Food is probably almost as important as the rides for some people. And thought we'd go through a few of the restaurants that we've gone to and give you my thoughts on them. Even though it is still winter time up here in the north, the groundhog said, yeah, we were going to have an early spring. So I broke out a Disney t-shirt and probably can't read what it says, but it's por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Famous words you always hear on the monorail. Yeah, somebody's in there. Well, they were. So anyway, wait a couple of more minutes, see if anybody shows up. If not, I'll just sit here and talk to myself for a while. You know, when you get old, people talk to themselves. It's not a very nice day out today, kind of dreary and cloudy, and 29 degrees. Anyway, Magic Kingdom restaurants. There are several ranging from snack carts to quick service to full service. We have a few that I don't know whether you want to call it tradition or I'm just an old fart and set in my ways, but we would go to every time. One of those, although I haven't been there in the last couple of trips, is Aloha Isle. Not really a restaurant, but you have to go there to get a Dole Whip. Dole Whips are really good. I still haven't tried the pineapple upside down cake Dole Whip, but that is on my bucket list. Another never to be missed restaurant before it closed, and we miss it a lot, is Aunt Polly's Dockside Inn out on Tom Sawyer Island. We would go there almost every trip. It was just a nice little place to sit on the river and grab a quick lunch. The food was really simple, usually ham and cheese sandwiches, maybe some fried chicken. And it was almost like having a picnic. But unfortunately, they closed that, and it's not that, well, it's still there, but you can go and sit at the tables, but you can't order any food. Another traditional restaurant on the list is Casey's Corner. Love me some hot dogs, and Casey's has really kind of upped their game here recently with the specialty hot dogs that they come out with. A new one every month, I think. But if you get the foot long, you really got to be hungry because that's a lot of hot dog. What else? Columbia Harbor House, we used to go to a lot. Really good fish. I know Lori always liked to get the clam chowder in a bread bowl, but they kind of quit doing that. Scott Scherer, I didn't have the chat turned on. Welcome. Cool thing about Columbia Harbor House is if you want to find a quiet table, go to the stairs and go upstairs. Usually the upstairs isn't very busy. You can find a table and it's much quieter up there, and you can have an enjoyable meal. Of course, we can't not talk about Magic Kingdom restaurants without Cosmic Rays, because everybody's got to go there and watch the floor show. Although I think that's under refurbishment right now. typical theme park food for the most part, although they have added some new stuff. What other places have we got on my list here? Went to Pinocchio Village House for the first time on this last trip. Food was pretty good. We really were hoping to get a table where we could look down on Small World, but it was really busy for lunchtime that day. Probably going to try to go do that one again. Probably some of the sit down restaurants. I think we've eaten at all of them. Probably the lowest on our list is Tony's Town Square. And I know a lot of people have the same opinion about Tony's. The food is Italian, but it's just not the greatest Italian that you're ever going to find. There's much better Italian food in Disney World. But part of my bucket list is to eat at every restaurant at least once. So we had to go there. The buffet at Crystal. Hi there, Lori's Bits and Pieces. Welcome. The buffet at Crystal Palace is really good. The building itself is amazing. And of course, it's a buffet, so you can go in and eat enough until you make yourself sick, which at buffets I have a tendency to do sometimes. Got to get my money's worth. But it's cool. It's a character. Drea, how are you? Welcome. It's a character meal now. If you like Pooh, you have to go to Crystal Palace. They have Pooh and Tigger and Piglet, I believe, and of course my favorite, Eeyore. Thanks for noticing me. Typical Disney buffet. Actually, one of my favorite things at any Disney buffet is over on the kids' part, and that's the mac and cheese, because Disney World really makes some good mac and cheese. Liberty Tree Tavern. We've eaten that 2 or 3 times, although not recently. It's a a la carte, I believe, for lunch, and then I forget what Disney calls it. It's not a buffet, but they bring the food to your table and it's all you can eat. And it's kind of a Thanksgiving type meal. Turkey, stuffing, potatoes. And it's real good. Need to go back there again one of these days too. I haven't been there in quite a while. Newer restaurants, the Skipper Canteen we ate at a couple of trips ago, I guess. Food was okay. I mean, it didn't blow me away. The coolest thing, I guess, about Skipper Canteen is the theming and the cast members, because it's almost like riding the Jungle Cruise in a restaurant. Same terrible punny jokes that make Jungle Cruise so much fun. Oh, well, if you need any recommendations for reservations, I can probably tell you exactly where you ought to go. We've eaten at almost every restaurant in all of Disney World except Disney Springs, but we're working on it. The Plaza restaurant, we've only eaten there one time, and it's been years ago, right off of Main Street. Back when we ate there, it was mostly typical theme park food, burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. And I don't know if they've expanded their menu since the last time we were there or not. May have to try that one again too. Be Our Guest. What can you say about Be Our Guest? You get to eat in Beast's Castle. There's 3 different dining rooms. We've eaten in 2 of the 3. Our favorite being the Rose Room, where the Magic Rose is. Although it's really dark in there, it's kind of hard to see what you're eating, but it's the theming is very, very cool throughout the entire restaurant. In the main dining room, you have the windows across one side, and it's snowing outside the windows. The other dining room, there's paintings on all the walls of Belle and Beast, and I believe there's a statue in the center of the room that rotates of the two of them dancing. Never have done it. I know you're at work, Laura. You got to run. Never have done breakfast at Be Our Guest, and we never have done dinner. We've done lunch several times. The lunch is pretty good, French-inspired food. Pre-mobile ordering, it was one of the restaurants that kind of started mobile ordering. It wasn't really mobile order like we know it today, where you get on your phone and order it while you're in the park. You could order from home, and you just get on your computer and bring up the menu and order what you want. And then that way, when you go in, you don't have to go through and order on the at the kiosks. You can just, say we've already placed the order, and they take you to your table and they bring you your food. And it was really easy. Oh, you need to use mobile ordering. It is the most amazing thing. Obviously, it's not in every restaurant, and it's only the quick service restaurants. We tried it last year for the first time, and it saves so much time. Of course, we were on a dining plan like we usually are, although if you're paying with a credit card, you can. Decide what restaurant you want to go. You pull up the menu on your phone. You say, I want this, 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 and this. And you do that for each person in your group. And you press OK and pay for it. And it pays for it right then and there. And you can do this anywhere in the park. And when you walk your way over to the restaurant, you open up the app and you say, click the I'm here button. And it'll bring up a thing that will notify you when your food's ready, and then you go to a special line. You don't have to wait in line. I was really surprised. I can't remember what restaurant it was, but we were at one restaurant, and nobody had used mobile order in front of me. So, I could just walk up and get my food. And the cast member and I got to talking while she was putting my food up on the counter, and she says, for as busy as the restaurant was, there had only been 18 mobile orders that entire day. And we were there for lunch. So I don't know what time, whether it was an early lunch or a late lunch. But so not everybody's using it because it's still new. Although Disney did announce that they've had 1 million mobile orders placed recently. So maybe it's catching on. But it's like we went to Flame Tree Barbecue in Animal Kingdom. And the wait at lunchtime for Flame Tree can be half hour, 40 minutes. We mobile ordered, and 5 minutes later, we were walking to a table to sit down and eat. So, yeah, definitely try it out. Let's see, what other restaurant? There's it really is kind of frustrating. And I know that Disney does this it's part of their business. But there's two restaurants in all of the years that I've been going to Disney World that I have never seen open. Tomorrowland Terrace and Tortuga Tavern. Both of those are only open seasonally. And evidently, I just don't go at the right season. So hopefully someday, I guess I was telling the story to somebody, and they said, well, you could always do one of the Magic Kingdom dessert parties, and they usually have that at Tomorrowland Terrace. So that might be one way we get to eat there. This last trip, November, I guess it was, we went to the Diamond Horseshoe for dinner for the first time. And years ago, Diamond Horseshoe was almost like a small hoop-de-doo. You could go in and you order your food, and they had a small show that they put on up on the stage. And then they closed it for a long, long time. And then I think they turned it into a meet and greet. But now they've got it back open as a restaurant, and it's again family style, I believe. And it's all you can eat, and they bring everything to your table. And it was a pretty good meal. If you go through my Instagram feed, there's some pictures. We did a lot of Instagram pictures of our food on this last trip, but there's some pictures of the inside of Diamond Horseshoe, although you'd have to know what you're looking at because I don't think I labeled them. Good restaurant. Probably go there again. What else is on the list? Cinderella's Royal Table. The hardest reservation to get in Disney World, I think. Although when we ate there, it wasn't Cinderella's Royal Table. It was, what was it? King Stephan's Royal Table, I think. Food was really good. Of course, the interior of the castle is just amazing. You go and you check in and you meet Cinderella, as I recall, in like almost like a throne room. There was a suit of armor standing over in one corner. And then after you've done your meet and greet, you go up the stone staircase to the second floor. And that's where the restaurant is. Actually, yeah, second floor, because halfway you walk up the stone staircase, and then there's a landing, and that's where the restrooms are. And then you go on upstairs into the restaurant. And it was all very medieval themed. Even all of the plates and silverware were pewter. And it was just, the theming was outstanding. The food was really pretty good. I think I had a steak. And it is a hard reservation to get. It's a little expensive, but if you want to eat in the castle, it's a lot of fun. Is there anything I've missed here on the list? Pecos Bill, we've been there once or twice. Again, it was, and they've changed the menu. It seems like Pecos Bill has gone Mexican. Was it Mexican they went? I know they changed their menu. When we went there, it was, burgers and hot dogs. That's one thing that Disney is really trying to do with their food, is get away from the traditional theme park food where it's all just I did talk about Beauty and the Beast. It's really good. We've had lunch there 2 or 3 times. And I don't know if they still do it. It used to be you could order your food from home before you even left to go to Disney. And that way you don't have to go to the little kiosk machines and order once you're there. You might check and see if they still do that. It's all French inspired food. It seems like I had it was a ham and cheese, and I forget what all it came with. It was really good. The desserts are cupcakes. Those are pretty good. It's not too expensive. There's 3 different dining rooms that you can eat in if you get to go there. The main room is always the busiest, and it's the one that has the snowfall coming down past the windows. We've never eaten in that room because it's just packed all the time. We like to go back to the Rose room where the Magic Rose is, and it's very dark back there. It's themed where Beast has kind of lost his control a little bit, and some of the paintings on the wall are slashed with claw marks. And there's a thunderstorm that happens, but that's our favorite room, even though it's really dark. It's kind of hard to see what you're eating. Let me see here. Cosmic Rays, Golden Outpost, Golden Oak, we've never gone to. Friar's Nook, we've never gone to. Some of those aren't really like a real restaurant. They'll only serve like one or two things. My favorite restaurant, I guess that would be, I would say my favorite is probably a toss-up between Cosmic Rays and the Crystal Palace. I love food, so a buffet is always really good. But Casey's is just, a tradition for me. I always go and get a hot dog and French fries, and they have a really good fixing bar at Casey's. And I doctor it all up, and I know a lot of people think I'm weird, but I put sauerkraut on my hot dogs if it's available. I know Lori always gets corn dog bites. The Casey's is really good. Cosmic Rays is awesome. I said earlier on, Aunt Polly's out on Tom Sawyer Island, we would go there every time, and we're really disappointed that it's not a restaurant anymore. And I would really like to try some of the ones we haven't tried, even if it was just to say, yeah, we've been there. Hopefully, at some point, I will have eaten at every restaurant and stayed in every hotel. I know this time we have a trip planned in October this year that is different for me in planning because we're taking 6 other people with us, and we're trying to get in one of the big 3-bedroom grand villas at Old Key West. Fingers crossed on that. I get to check for that reservation, I think the 1st of March. But it's really, when normally it's just Lori and I going, or sometimes my daughter and her husband go with us. But when you're trying to plan a trip for a big group of people, it's a little more complicated. So, well, it looks like I've pretty much gone through my list of restaurants. And I really thank the 2 people that here have hung out until the bitter end. I appreciate that. And I think we're going to cut it off here in a couple of minutes. If anybody's got any questions or anything they want to ask me, they'd be more than happy to give you the benefit of my vast knowledge. And of course, we have to make sure all of the devices are charged up for Resort TV 1's live stream tonight. Well, anyway, again, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see y'all later. This has been an odd. Oh, well, we'll be sure and wish you a happy birthday, Scott. I'll have to try to remember that. Maybe I'll write that on my calendar. Oh, well, thank you, Dre. Anytime you need to know something about Disney, you can always, private message me. If I can answer it, I would be more than happy to help you guys out. Anyway, we'll see you all later. Traditional sign off. This has been an odd production. Thanks for watching.